Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be the kiss test. The importance of going for the kiss on the first date. And before you end all of your first dates, you should at least go for the kiss, even if you are unsure of whether they're going to kiss you or not. Why? Because you want to make sure that they kiss you back. Because women that kiss you back on the lips, they're open, they're authentic, they're following their heart, and they're just enjoying themselves. But women who hold back, who turn their head and give you the cheek, who get pissed off at you for trying to kiss them, they're structured, they're following rules, they're either not interested, and they're quite frankly a fucking pain in the ass. And at this point in my life, I've dated plenty of women like that when I was younger, and it's like the women you're going to have the best time with are women that are easy to be with. Women that are easy to communicate with. Women that are easy to get along with. When a woman's upset about something, she tells you that she's upset. And when you ask her why, and you ask her to explain it to you, she'll tell you because she wants to work things out. She wants to communicate with you. But women who fucking stonewall you, who go, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it right now. It's just a pain in the ass dating women like that because shit builds up and nothing ever gets resolved. So the idea here is not only to be more successful with members of the opposite sex when you're reading my book and applying it, but to use what you learn in the book to make sure you get a normal, healthy woman and not a fucking Fruit Loop. Because dating a Fruit Loop will make your life a living fucking hell. I've done plenty of emails over the years from guys who have dated women that are just a fucking nightmare. Life is too short. You want things to be easy and effortless and drama-free. So I have a quote that I wrote, and we're going to go through this particular guy's email. And the quote says, how do you know when a woman is ready to be kissed on a date? Look into her eyes, then slowly down to her lips, and then slowly back into her eyes during normal conversation. Slowly repeat this 1 or 2 more times over the next 10 to 20 seconds. If she looks at your lips also, then she is thinking about kissing you too. Go for it immediately. You should always go for the kiss on all of your first dates. Women who are flexible, open, romantically interested, and easygoing will kiss you back passionately. They deserve a second date. Women who give you the cheek, hug you, or scold you for trying never get or deserve a second date. I've learned those things over many years and many dates and many relationships that I've had over the years. And if you want things to be easy and effortless, like I talk about in my book, follow that simple principle. Trust me. But if you're hard-headed and you want to project your fantasy onto some girl and date some chick that's a pain in the ass, then by all means, if you want to learn the hard way, whatever. You want to try to reinvent the wheel? Whatever. So he says, hey, coach, how are you doing? Fucking awesome. How else would I be doing? Life's fucking great, dude. I live a charmed life. I get to help people, men and women all over the world, be fucking awesome. It's my purpose, dude. It's wonderful when you get to get up every day and do something that you love for a living and make your own schedule and make a major impact in people's lives in a positive way. It's a fucking gift. It's wonderful being able to do that in whatever mode of work you happen to do. That's why it's so important that you got to do something that you love for a living. If you want to be really super successful, you have to love what you're doing. If you don't love it, you will not work hard enough to become awesome at it and successful and wealthy at it. That's just the reality. He says, I'm 28 and I had a long-term relationship for 5 years and I've been single for the past 2 years. And I've only recently started to read your work and watch your videos. I started exercising regularly, and surprise, surprise, dates are happening. Dates are happening because you're focusing on yourself and being awesome and making yourself happy. And the happier you are, and the better you look, and the better you take care of yourself, and the more your life is aligned with your purpose and your life's mission, the more attractive women are going to find you. Women like guys that are ambitious, that have goals that they're pursuing. It's very attractive. Why? Because that's what masculine energy is. Masculine energy is about purpose, drive, mission, succeeding, accomplishing, breaking through barriers, overcoming challenges, taking action in spite of your fear. I haven't read your book 10 to 15 times because I just haven't had enough time yet. Well, I call bullshit on that. When somebody says, I don't have any time, that's just their story. That's their excuse. And like Andy Roddick said, at some point in your life, you either have the things you want or the reasons why you don't. That's a big, when you talk to most people and you start inquiring, the average person you meet in the street inquiring about what they want to do with their lives or what they've always really wanted to do, or they start talking about going to the gym or whatever it happens to be, you hear that shit, I just don't have the time right now. I'm just so busy. And that's what they tell themselves, so they don't feel bad about the fact of not doing anything to change their situation. 20 years later, they're still going, I just don't have the time. And then when they get to be 60, 55, 60 years old, it's like, well, I'm pretty much out of time. And they've given up. It's sad, but that's the way the majority of the people in this world live. He says, I met this one girl through a work conference and then saw her again last week. We really hit it off. We had great chemistry and sexual energy. We exchanged numbers and then I set the date. We had an amazing, fun time and she did 80 to 85% of the talking. So far, so good. We had sushi, as I heard that's what you like on a first date too, and I understand why. I love sushi, absolutely. I like a good meal. I'm not going to take a girl to fucking McDonald's or Burger King on a first date. I don't have to. I'm lucky at this point in my life because I've worked hard enough to where I can go to nice places and eat nice food. But you know what? There was a time in my life when I didn't have a lot of money, and I'd go to do things like that were inexpensive. I mean, you obviously got to follow what your budget is. If you can't afford to do something nice like going to sushi, invite a girl over, make dinner at your place, or do a picnic by the lake, or go for a walk around the park, or go roller skating or rollerblading or ice skating or miniature golf or something that's inexpensive and fun to do. Then we went for a drink afterwards. There was this one time I had the opportunity to go for the kiss test. It was perfect. I looked at her eyes, her lips, her eyes, her lips, and she smiled and looked at mine. And damn, I didn't do it. You totally fucking bitched out. You dithered and you hesitated. Women know, they know what it means when you're looking at each other's lips. And when you sit there and you're looking at her lips and then you don't do anything, she starts to think, oh, his balls are the size of BBs. He has no courage, he has no confidence, and that doesn't help your case. If you're not going to go for the kiss when that happens, then don't use the kiss test like that. Because like you get her enticed and then you fucking chicken out. And women can tell, they can feel the vibe. They can feel that you're hesitating. They can feel you're afraid. But I mean, you're new to my work, so I mean, obviously I wasn't good like this when I first started out either. But the bottom line is, when you apply these things that I talk about, you're going to get the results. And sometimes, obviously, he was probably sitting there, oh my God, she's staring at my lips. I can't believe it's just like Corey said in his fucking book. Holy shit. He says, my bad. I ended the night shortly after, and as we were parting ways, I grabbed her and said, I had a great time tonight, and I went for the kiss. Then she pulled back a little and said, hey, don't kiss me. I'm very old school. I like to take my time and get to know you more. In a tone that was like, why the fuck would you ruin such an amazing time and try and kiss me? Well, I'm not interested in being your buddy. I'm interested in you romantically. I mean, that's why. It's obvious. And right then and there on the spot, if I was in your shoes, I mean, I would have kissed her, obviously, while we were having the drinks, because that was pretty right, but obviously you're a little inexperienced. But when a girl says something like this, that's it. Delete the number. Goodbye, gonzo. See you later. You don't get another chance with me. You don't ever say that to me. If I put my arms around you and I go to kiss you, I mean, I don't get rejected. These things don't happen to me because I know what to fucking look for at this point in my life. But the bottom line is, even if a woman did, like, say we go out on a date and that kind of shit gets said to me, it's like, no way. But the more experience you get, things like this will never happen to you again. But obviously when you're still learning, you're going to make mistakes like this. He said, I was like, oh, okay. So I stepped back in and I kissed both cheeks, like a typical nice guy, hugged and said goodbye. Before I left, she said, text me so I know you got home safe. I didn't agree to it, but I said okay, and I left. I had a feeling she was testing me on the old school part and the texting. I maybe should have said to her, I'm a man and I will get home safely, don't worry, or something. Nah, it's not necessary. But you're not a robot, and you don't have to do what she says. Remember what Steve McQueen said, I live for myself and I answer to nobody. So what does this tell me about this girl? She gives you a hard time and makes you feel ashamed for being interested in her romantically and kissing her when she's looking at your lips just a few minutes earlier while you were having drinks. So this is some chick that's structured, that's following a set of rules, that's insecure, and she's basically trying to get you to fall in line with whatever her agenda happens to be and be her little lapdog. I live for myself and I answer to nobody. I don't fucking answer to you. You're not going to say that to a woman ever. But inside, that's what you're going to be thinking. When I got home, she texted me saying, hey, I really enjoyed myself and I had a great time. You were really easy to chat with and seemed to have your heart in the right place. I just like to take it slow. If that's an issue, I won't hold it against you. I was just definitely born in the wrong generation. Whatever. Hop in a fucking time machine and go back to whatever generation you feel you belong. Because I'm not interested. I wouldn't say that to her, but you can just ghost her, which is like nothing, not even a reply. I mean, think about it. You took this girl out. You took her to sushi, which is not fucking cheap. Doesn't matter what country you're in. Taking a girl to a sushi dinner, I mean, you're $50-$60 easily. You take a girl out, and then on top of that, you spend money on drinks. So what do you spend? Probably $70-$80 that night on drinks? Maybe $100 if you had drinks when you were having sushi? And she gives you a fucking, like, how dare you try and kiss me? Do you really want to spend another $80 to $100 on a girl like that? Fuck no. You gave her the gift of your time. It's the greatest gift you can give to anybody. And she busts your balls about it? Next. I didn't text back, and then 10 minutes later after, she said, are you seriously not back yet? Do you think this girl is secure and comfortable and has a healthy self-esteem? Or do you think she's a little bit of a fucking Fruit Loop? I would say Fruit Loop. He says, so at that point, I thought she was worried and saying, what the fuck, are you seriously not going to text me? And I texted back saying, hey, yes, sorry, I was chatting with housemates. I am at home and I also had a great time. Would love to see you again. I had fun. Well, I certainly wouldn't have said I would love to see you again after that fucking... She's disqualified, dude. She's fucking out of there. I would have just said, hey, I would have taken my time. Remember, I live for myself and I answer to nobody. So you're like, I'm sorry, Your Highness. I'm sorry I didn't text you right away. Please like me. It's like, I'm fucking busy. I'll get to you when I have fucking time. I went to kiss you and you fucking... With that kind of performance, it's like, I'm going to take my time. You're at the bottom of the totem pole now, honey. Why don't I want to waste any more of my life and my time or my money on you? You disqualified yourself from my life. He said, the kiss test rejection really threw me off and I am unsure what to do now. Delete her number. That's what I would do. I know I should have set the date again. No, you shouldn't have. You don't set a date on your first date. I say that in the book. Just because a girl texts you 20 minutes after the date doesn't mean you set the next date. What I say in the book is a day or two or three after your last date, when a woman feels comfortable enough, she'll start reaching out to you. When that happens, say you go out on a date on a Sunday night or whatever, and then maybe Tuesday morning or maybe Monday, she texts you in the afternoon and said, hey, just want to let you know I had a really great time the other night. That's okay. It's the next day. Then you can use that. Hey, you know what? I had a great time too, and I'd really love to see you again. When you're free to get together next. That's when you do it. But you don't set the second date on the day of your first date or when you're on a first date still. This is what I teach in the book. But again, you got to read it 10 to 15 times to get those little tiny details. They make a world of difference. And again, if you'd have read the book 10 to 15 times, I know you're new to the work, but the bottom line is you would know what to do, which is you don't go out with women like this. No fucking way in hell. He says, but I will probably read your book another few times. Please help. Well, like I said, she's out. She's disqualified. Unless you want to doubt me and you want to go out and beat your fucking head against the wall, then I'll be getting an email from you in a couple months saying, Coach, you were totally fucking right. I should have fucking flushed that girl's number, and she turned out to be a total insecure, jealous, controlling, needy freak of nature. And I'm glad she's out of my life now. So if you'd like to get my help personally, the quickest way is to book a paid phone, Skype, or email coaching session. You can choose any of those options by going to my website, clicking the products tab at the top of your screen, and just follow the instructions for booking whichever option works best for you. And I will talk to you soon.